WSYR TV Syracuse, the local station. You're watching the morning news.
Good morning and welcome into WSYR Plus, the morning news at 7 o'clock. You got Rachel and Kate here with you as Ryan has the morning off. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Good morning.
Yeah, cold start.
It's cold.
And you said it's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, tiny pun.
Yeah.
Tiny pun there.
I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, we got 20s and each week or each day this week, it's just going to be varying levels of tolerance of how like cold and then like bitter cold. We're going to run out of adjectives by the end of the week about
Bundle
all
up.
this. Pretty much. So here's a really nice view looking out over downtown Syracuse. We have our sunrise this morning at just after 7:30, and we had a milestone tonight with our sunset, our first 5 o'clock one of the year. A little bit of light snow moving on through right now, but just north of Buffalo, dealing with some lake effect. That's kind of a precursor of what's headed our way tonight. Highs in the 20s, feels like temperatures in the teens. But starting tonight and lasting all the way through tomorrow and into Wednesday, we are looking at feet of snow to drop east of Lake Ontario, central northern Oswego County, Tug Hill area. Get ready for some significant snow to fall in the next day and a half.
We begin with some good news this morning. After nearly a month of water conservation across central New York, the end is finally in sight. Parts of Onondaga and Madison counties have been under mandatory restrictions since a major water main break in Cicero. According to Aqua's director, repairs to the transmission main are complete. Now crews are in the process of disinfecting the pipe. He says, quote, mandatory water conservation remains in place until the pipe is fully refilled and pressurized. Many neighbors say they're feeling relieved.
I've been impressed with how well the whole process has gone, right from the workers having to work in such terrible conditions.
You know, at first I thought it was gonna be a quick thing, and then I kind of realized the gravity of it, and it lasted, you know, now it's longer, but the fact that it's complete now is shocking, but it's good to hear.
The mandatory water conservation order will remain in place until crews finish disinfecting, refilling, and pressurizing that pipe. Officials say the plan is to shift to voluntary conservation later this morning. Of course, we'll continue to track any updates and let you know when that mandate is officially lifted. Turning to some harder headlines now, 2 shootings in the city yesterday afternoon happening less than 30 minutes apart. The first at the intersection of South Geddes and West Fayette Streets, the second just a few blocks away on Richmond Ave. Syracuse police now releasing details on both shootings. We'll start at the corner of South Geddes and West Fayette Streets. Officers were called to that area around lunchtime after reports of gunfire. When they got there, they learned a 21-year-old man had already been taken to Upstate University Hospital by car. He was suffering from what appeared to be multiple gunshot wounds to the chest and hip. At this hour, his condition has not been released. Then, just 24 minutes later, officers were dispatched to Upstate University Hospital after a 16-year-old arrived with a gunshot wound to the leg. Police later learning that shooting happened in the 100 block of Richmond Avenue, just a few blocks from the first scene. That victim is listed in stable condition and is expected to survive. An investigation into both shootings is ongoing. Syracuse police asking anyone with information on either incident to give them a call at 315-442-5222. New pictures into the newsroom this morning after an overnight garage fire in Pompey sent crews rushing to the scene. These photos from the Tully Fire Department show smoke billowing as firefighters responded just after 10:30 last night. Once on the scene, crews worked quickly to knock down the flames using over 28,000 gallons of water. Tully fire crews say they were on site until about 2 this morning. It is still unclear if anyone was hurt. No rest for local fire crews this weekend. 2 more fires breaking out yesterday. On the left, an overnight house fire on Bellevue Ave in the city. On the right, the aftermath of a barn fire on Oswego Road in Baldwinsville. We'll start in the city, where the Syracuse Fire Department was up early yesterday morning, knocking down flames in the Skunk City neighborhood. This was the scene early in the morning. Crews arriving to the house finding heavy smoke coming from inside. They were able to get inside and knock down the flames in about 20 minutes. We went back to the scene hours later, and this is what it looked like. We're told that everyone inside the house was able to get out safely, but a total of 7 people, including 3 teenagers, have been displaced. Another fire breaking out at a barn in Baldwinsville. Come take a look at your screen for some of that aftermath. This scene over on Oswego Road, just down the road from Our Lady of Peace Cemetery. You can see the pile of burnt wood there from the barn as crews wrapped up work on the scene. Moyers Corners fire crews say an investigation into how that fire started is now underway. Covering court now in a surprise twist in a trial. Former Marcy Correction Officer Michael Fisher taking a plea deal on the second day of jury deliberations in Oneida County. Fisher will now plead guilty to reckless endangerment. He was on trial accused of not intervening during the deadly beating of inmate Robert Brooks at Marcy Correctional Facility. As part of the agreement, he will serve 6 months behind bars. His sentencing is at the end of next week. Former Mid-State officers were also in court on Friday. 4 court dates are now set in the case surrounding the death of inmate Messiah Nantwi. Jonah Levi will be back in court on March 23rd. Caleb Blair and Michael Iffert will be tried together on May 4th, and Thomas Eck will appear again on June 1st. Former officer David Ferrone was sentenced to a 3-year conditional charge for tampering with physical evidence. Turning to a health headline now as we continue to track the latest flu numbers around New York State. According to the latest health department report, cases have dropped 40% statewide compared to the previous reporting week. Onondaga County has close to 400 confirmed cases. There are just over 300,000 around New York State. It is still not too late to get vaccinated. Doctors say getting your shot can help slow the spread of the virus. Today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and many places will be closed to observe the holiday. Federal offices, including post offices, will be shut down for the day. Banks will also be closed, but most bank ATMs should still be accessible. Other community services like garbage and recycling pickups may also be taking the day off. The United Way not taking the day off as they host their 24th annual MLK Day of Service winter clothing drive. Volunteers will be packing and delivering items to nonprofit organizations around our community. They are looking for new or gently worn coats and winter accessories. You can drop off donations between 9 and noon this morning at the Nottingham High School gym. New York sports fans are probably having a hard time moving on from a disappointing weekend in the sports world. I know I am. From basketball to football, those wins were hard to come by. We'll start on the hardwood with the Orange and their stunning loss against Boston College. The team's playing a lot of back and forth, and by the end of the overtime, Syracuse would crumble to Boston College 81-73. Up next for the Orange is a game against Virginia Tech at the Dome on Wednesday. The women's basketball team continued their hot streak with the win against Stanford yesterday at the Dome. Dominique Darius dials it up, ending with a career high of 26 points on the day. Syracuse would defeat Stanford 69-58, moving to 6-2 in ACC play.
Defense. It's extremely difficult. I feel like I let my teammates down tonight. It's been a long season. I hate how it ended, and it's going to stick with me for a long time.
Another heartbreak for Buffalo Bills fans after the Bills lose in OT on Saturday. Denver leading 23-10 early in the third. The Bills were able to storm back. By the time the clock ran out, both teams were tied at 30. By the end of overtime, the Broncos were able to score another field goal, and the Bills would suffer another playoff loss as they fall to Denver 33-30. The New York Giants have officially named John Harbaugh as their new head coach. Harbaugh, recently released by the Baltimore Ravens, signed a 5-year deal with the Giants on Saturday. After going 7-27 over the past 2 seasons, New York was ready to pounce on the opportunity to bring in a proven winning coach. Tonight, it's all about college football, and Miami will try to upset Indiana in the College Playoff National Championship. The undefeated Hoosiers will be attempting to cap off a perfect season. The championship game kicks off at 7:30 on ESPN. Still ahead on WSYR Plus, Kate will have a full check on that forecast. Plus, we are ringing the bell on when this eyesore will turn into a Taco Bell. The Your Stories team is serving up the answer after this.
You're watching The Morning News with Ryan Dean, Rachel Polanski, and Storm Team meteorologist Kate Thornton with Central New York's most accurate forecast. News Channel 9, the local station. Now, Storm Team meteorologist Kate Thornton with Central New York's most accurate forecast.
Alrighty, good morning. We have a live view right now from our Cat-V Skynet 9 cameras. We have sunrise coming up in about 20 minutes or so. Nice view. We got clouds around and got a little bit of grass poking through our snow that we have here. So we've lost a little bit of snow, but we're still trucking along. We're sitting at over 93 inches for the season so far officially at the airport. We're sitting at 20 degrees right now under a mostly cloudy sky. A little bit of a breeze coming from the south, which makes it feel like 11 degrees outside. Now, we're just getting started with this cold air. This is just literally the tip of the iceberg. We got a lot more cold air coming at us for tomorrow. We got another round at the end of the week, another round for this weekend, and it's just going to keep on coming for the next about probably 2 weeks or so before we get any real relief around here. You can see that colder air just waiting up in Duluth and Minnesota and Cedar Rapids, Sault Ste. Marie, Chicago. They are very cold, and that Arctic air spilling over us starting tonight. So on the radar, we have this Clipper system moving across Michigan, and this is headed for us. And so this is going to send a little bit of light snow our way for today, followed by some very heavy lake effects starting up later on tonight. So on the radar, we have just some very light snow showers. A lot of this is barely even making it to the ground. Highs today only making it to the mid-20s, so colder than it was yesterday. Occasional snow showers. Your feels-like temperatures today in the teens. A very gusty southwest wind setting up. Tonight is when our air really begins to drop. We wake up tomorrow morning in the single digits, feeling like it's sub-zero, anywhere from 5 to 10 below, with tomorrow morning's wind chill. And during the day, we're not rising a whole lot. We are only in the teens with wind chills in the single digits. So a very, very frigid day on top for tomorrow, but we got more where that comes from. All right, let's talk about the snow now. So this is only going to be fairly light this morning. We'll pick things up just a little bit this evening. We'll see a few of these quick little bursts of snow. So for that evening commute, watching out for any of that, because remember, you only need that quick burst with that quick coating of snow to make the roads a little slippery and dropping your visibility. So you're going to want to be careful about that for this evening. Tonight is when our lake effect really begins to get organized. Now, our in-house model is suggesting a quick drop southbound to even possibly into northern Onondaga County from Baldwinsville, Clay, Cicero, extending over towards Camden. So we're going to watch for that happening late tonight, but it looks like that's only happening, if it does, for a couple of hours before it starts to set up shop pretty much exactly east of Lake Ontario. So like that 104 corridor from Oswego to Mexico over near Atmore Parish, Williamstown, the snow belt, basically. All right, so we're keeping an eye on that. That's where snowfall rates will be as much as 2 to 3 inches per hour. Outside of that, Syracuse and the Thruway is actually in a sweet spot tomorrow with snow up north and down south from Lake Erie. There's really not much happening for Syracuse other than it's sunny, cold, and windy for tomorrow. And that lake effect just keeps going all day tomorrow, all Tuesday night. Wednesday, it starts to weaken and lift up towards Watertown before it eventually kind of takes a little bit of a break ahead of the next clipper that moves through. And then we rinse and repeat this whole process all over again with some lighter snow showers during the day Wednesday. So again, there's not much snow during the day today. Tonight, we're going to see about 6 to 12 inches and then another 6 to 12 during the day and then another one for tomorrow night. So that's going to bring grand total to 2 to 3 feet in the hardest hit areas in the Tug Hill. We kind of do this process again Wednesday into Thursday, followed by lake effect on Friday. Very cold air again this weekend. We wake up sub-zero Sunday morning.
Now, here is Ryan Dean with the Your Stories Q&A.
You're asking me to ring the bell once again, getting you an answer on a Taco Bell. Here's the question. When will construction begin on the new Taco Bell off Bridge Street in DeWitt? I want to know, too, because it's right near our studios. There's a new vision for this old eyesore. The DeWitt Planning Board has approved a plan to knock down the vacant Mixer's Grill off Bridge Street and build a Taco Bell with a drive-through. The Hospitality Restaurant Group, also known as HRG, is the developer. They tell me the new 2,600 square foot Taco Bell will sit much closer to Bridge Street than this rundown restaurant. It will be similar to the one that's up and running on Thompson Road. HRG says it's hopeful it can start knocking down mixers in April, but the timing all depends on getting the proper permit from the DEC. Once they demo, it will take about 4 months to build. Do you have a question for the Your Stories team? Email us your stories at localsyr.com. With the Your Stories Q&A, Ryan Dean, News Channel 9.
Now, your forecast first. Certified as Central New York's most accurate.
All right, we got a cold one today. Temperatures are in the 20s, but we're feeling more like the teens because of the gusty wind and just occasional snow showers, but heavy lake effect snow for the Tug Hills starts tonight.
At 7:19, here is your news on the go this morning. Nearly 1,500 active duty Army paratroopers are on alert for a possible deployment in Minneapolis. It comes as tensions remain high across the Twin Cities following the deadly shooting of 37-year-old mother of 3, Renee Good. The federal government insisting the agent's shooting of Good was justified and no further review of his actions are warranted. This morning, European leaders are slamming President Trump's threat to impose tariffs for opposing American control of Greenland. Ambassadors from America's closest allies holding an emergency meeting warning the threats risk a dangerous downward spiral. The Trump administration insists that the U.S. must control Greenland for national security. President Trump will be face-to-face with many of those European leaders at the annual World Economic Forum in Switzerland this week. Many of those attending would see an effect from the president's threatened tariffs. Wine and cheese from France would likely be hit under the tariffs, as well as salmon from Norway and audio equipment assembled in Denmark. Spanish police say at least 39 people are confirmed dead in a high-speed train collision on Sunday night in the south of Spain. Efforts to recover the bodies are continuing and the death toll is likely to rise. The tail end of a train carrying 300 passengers on the route to Madrid went off the rails, slamming into an oncoming train. The head of the second train, which was carrying nearly 200 passengers, took the brunt of the impact. Authorities said all the survivors had been rescued in the early morning, while work remained to recover and identify the dead. Syracuse police releasing new details on a shooting that happened on the corner of South Geddes and West Fayette Streets. Officers were called to that area around lunchtime after reports of gunfire. When they got there, they learned a 21-year-old man had already been taken to Upstate University Hospital by car. He was suffering from what appeared to be multiple gunshot wounds to the chest and hip. 24 minutes later, officers were dispatched to Upstate University Hospital after a 16-year-old arrived with a gunshot wound to the leg. Police later learning that shooting happened in the 100 block of Richmond Ave, just a few blocks away from that first scene. That victim is listed in stable condition and is expected to survive. An investigation into both shootings is ongoing. Syracuse police are asking anyone with information on either incident to give them a call. To the gridiron now, the Texans and Patriots facing off last night to see who else would be heading to the AFC Championship game. The Pats starting off strong with a 28-yard touchdown to put them ahead early. Houston came back to go up by 3, but one of C.J. Stroud's 4 interceptions turns into a touchdown for New England. Marcus Jones brings it 26 yards back the other way to put them up by 4. And just before halftime, Drake Mays strikes again, this time hitting Stephon Diggs to go up by 1. Patriots tack on one more touchdown in the 4th to advance onto the AFC Championship game against the Denver Broncos. And ahead, if you're staying home today, we'll tell you what's open and what's closed for the holiday. Plus, an end is finally in sight after Central New Yorkers were asked to conserve water for several weeks. Morning at 7:25, Rachel Polanski here with you. It is a cold and breezy day with occasional snow showers. Highs are in the 20s, but it feels like the teens. Kate Thornton has the latest on tonight's lake effect snow coming up in just a moment. But first, after nearly a month of water conservation across central New York, the end is finally in sight. Parts of Onondaga and Madison counties have been under mandatory restrictions since a major water main break in Cicero. Aqua's director says repairs to the transmission main are complete. Now crews are in the process of disinfecting the piping. Officials say the plan is to shift to voluntary conservation later this morning. Today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and many places will be closed to observe the holiday. Federal offices, including post offices, will be shut down for the day. Banks will also be closed for MLK Day, but most bank ATMs should still be accessible. Other community services like garbage and recycling pickup may also be taking the day off. Here's Kate.
Good morning, everybody. A cloudy view looking from the Cat V Skynet 9 camera in Morrisville. We're sitting at 20 degrees. A little bit of a breeze, which makes it feel like 11 outside. We've had a few flurries around, but a clipper is moving by today. Temperatures, highs mid to upper 20s, but when you factor in that wind, we're feeling much colder, and that's only the beginning. So here is the timecast. We're dealing with just some lighter snow showers this morning. At times, you'll see a couple of these little bursts moving through here for the evening commute, so we're watching out for that. But tonight is when that lake effect really starts to get organized. Our lake effect snow warnings remain in effect all the way through Wednesday afternoon. Very heavy snowfall east of the lake happening all night and pretty much all day tomorrow. By the time this is wrapped up by Wednesday morning, we're looking at feet of snow for areas exactly east of Lake Ontario, and we're going to keep it cold throughout the week. In fact, it gets even colder for the weekend.
Download the WSYR Plus app on your TV to stream News Channel 9 for free. Just go to your smart TV, search WSYR Plus in the App Store, and download to start streaming today.